Good day, learners! In this week, the important things that we are going to learn will be about scientific investigation. Today, we will be able to describe the components of the scientific method. But before we begin, let me introduce first to you the importance and facts about scientific investigation, how it would help us to solve our problems in life, whether it is school related, family concern, work related, personal problem, career, environmental issues, and many more.
Scientific investigation is the basic method of gaining knowledge, and most importantly, it provides us evidences to answer our problems in life, and also it understands the behavior of the things around us. Scientists are not the only ones that can use this method. This can be applied even if you are a student, a teacher, a police, medical expert, politician, engineers, and even a president of the country. That's why they say scientific investigation is the heart of science. So now let's begin. Scientific method is a logical and rational order of steps by which scientists use to understand the world around them. It is a series of organized steps that can be used to answer our question or solve a problem. It helps us to organize our thoughts and procedures so that we can be confident in the answer we find. So, what are the steps of the scientific method? So, now let's proceed to the steps of the scientific method. So, first step is identify the problem. It is very important to state your problem. Before performing an experiment, you should have a definite purpose why you are going to do such activity. The purpose should be written in an interrogative form and stated as a problem. In a statement, if a sentence starts with why, where, who, when, then that is the question or that is the problem in a statement. If you read a statement like this, you have to look at the sentence that is in a question form. Now, I'll give you time to find the problem in this example. Very good. The problem here is what would happen if she will pour the liquids with different densities into the same container? But what made you think that that is the problem in the statement? You are right. It's because the sentence starts with the word what. After you have identified the problem, formulating hypothesis comes next, and that is actually the second step of the scientific method. This is a tentative answer to the problem and should be stated in a sentence that starts with maybe, perhaps, I think, or if blank, then blank. Again, it is only a possible answer or an educational guess to the question. But remember, your educational guess can be correct or wrong. So what do we do to prove if our hypothesis is correct or not? Yes, we need to conduct an experiment. But before we perform an experiment, we have to collect data and prepare the materials we'll be needing to our experimentation. So let's try to make a possible answer to this question. If blank, then I think blank. Can you try it? Some of you may have this possible answer. If I pour the water, oil, dishwashing liquid, and honey into the same container, then I think the liquids will mix together. Or maybe some of you will have this assumption. If I pour the water, oil, dishwashing liquid, and honey into the same container, then I think the liquids will separate into distinct layers. So class, remember that a possible answer or an educational guess is needed to be valid or to be tested. So how do we prove if the hypothesis is correct or wrong? That's correct. It is to perform an experiment. But before we perform an experiment, we have to collect data and prepare the materials we will be needed in our experiment. And that is our third step, which is the data collection. It will enable you to make an orderly and systematized experiment. Now, the fourth step of the scientific method is Experiment. Design a test or a procedure and perform it to find out if the hypothesis is correct or not. If the result of the experiment agrees with the hypothesis, then it is advisable to do at least 3 trials to increase the reliability of the result. But what if the experiment's result does not agree with the hypothesis? Then the hypothesis must be changed. I have here a sample of a procedure. So as you can see, I have 4 steps here or procedures that we are going to rearrange to show the correct procedure in our experiment. Now, what would be the first step or what would be the first procedure to do in our experiment? Now, what would be the first in the procedure? Very good. To prepare an empty transparent glass. That's the first one. Second, put 3 tablespoons for each kind of liquid in the glass. Third, observe the glass after you put the 4 liquids. And last one is to list down your observation. Now that you are done with your experiment, you have to analyze and interpret the data. So analysis or analyzation means examine or study the data you have gathered from your experiment. The result of the experiment must be presented with reliable data and information. Collect data and record the progress of your experiment. Document your result with detailed measurement, description, and observation in the form of notes, journal, photo, tables, charts, and graphs. Now that you have the data, analyze the data collected and interpret accurately. So that is the last step or the 6th step in the scientific method, which is draw a conclusion. A conclusion is actually to summarize the result in written form. Use your analysis to answer the original questions. I have here a sample of drawing a conclusion. So the first bullet and the second bullet. So after conducting the experiment, I learned that blank. Can you try it? The second bullet, if I mix the liquids with different densities, then the liquids will blank. Let's have the conclusion. After conducting the experiment, I learned that the honey is the most dense among the 4 kinds of liquids. Do we have the same answer? Very good. If I mix the liquids with different densities, then the liquids will separate into distinct layers. That's correct. Now we're done in our conclusion, and that is actually our final answer. To make our result more reliable, just do 3 trials. If the results of the experiment from trial 1, 2, 3 are consistent, then that is the final answer. So now let us summarize the steps of the scientific method. So I have here keywords. So all you have to do is identify the steps of the scientific method. For the first one, state the question. Very good. Identify the problem. Possible answer. Formulate hypothesis. Prepare the materials. Data collection. Perform the procedure. Experiment. Examine the data is to analyze. Answer or result, make a conclusion. So I think that's it for now. I hope that you have learned something new today. And don't forget to watch my next video about qualitative and quantitative observation. So have a good day, everyone, and God bless. Bye!